I just saw something that piqued my interest, and it has me not only worried but concerned for this Arkansas football program. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great Tuesday. Hope all of you having a great week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. One of the biggest storylines over the weekend that, well, I said one of the biggest. It should have been one of the biggest that didn't get talked about enough, at least in my humble opinion, was Arkansas fired their head coach, Sam Pittman, after the abysmal, disappointing, whatever you want to call it. You can throw in so many words, loss against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Take nothing away from Notre Dame. They are a really good football team. Everybody, for some reason, has written them off because they lost to A&M in Miami, but those aren't two bad losses. I mean, the loss against A&M was because Tyler Buckner, shout out to him, he couldn't hold the PAT. He couldn't field it correctly. That one mistake cost him the game. I digress. Not going to go on a Notre Dame rant. But all in all, Notre Dame's not a team you want to mess around with. They're also a team that is highly motivated. They quite literally can't lose another single game or they're not going to make the playoff. They may win out and still not make the playoff. They don't have another ranked opponent on their schedule. So they are in must-win mode right now. Arkansas caught them at a bad time. But with that being said, Arkansas didn't need to necessarily win the game for Pittman to retain his job, but you had to compete. It was a sold-out stadium. Arkansas fans are already highly demoralized because they're coming off of the heartbreaking loss to Memphis, another loss against Ole Miss where they probably would have won that game if they didn't fumble. Well, I say probably. They had a good shot. They fumbled it against Memphis and Ole Miss on the go-ahead touchdown drives. So although you lost those two games, there was still some optimism around the program. Everybody loves Sam Pittman. We'll talk about his coaching in just a second, but as far as it goes for a person, the fans like him, and the players like him. Nobody wanted to see Sam Pittman fail and go out this way. Everybody was rooting for him. It just didn't work out. To make a long story short, Arkansas gets completely bamboozled by the Fighting Irish. They were doing fake punts up by 30. Shout out to Marcus Freeman. I like that because I got the old ball coach mentality. I don't think you should take your foot off the gas just because you're up by 30, 40, or 50. It doesn't matter. Keep playing. I tweeted out during the game that Arkansas has two options. Number one, you shut down the program. Or number two, the better option, you fire Sam Pittman. That's all you had. I also made a reaction video on Saturday as soon as the game was over talking about how it's just time to go. You got to get rid of Pittman. The players, they gave up on him. The final play that did it for me was right before half when Arkansas fumbled. It's 35-13. Notre Dame's running back took a screen pass. I think it was 35 yards, but it's not that he took it 35 yards. It's more so of he broke like 6 to 7, 8, 9, 10 tackles. Arkansas defenders were jogging. It was not a good sight to see. I'm sugarcoating it. It was pathetic. And what was funny is when Notre Dame was lining up to kick the extra point, you know how they show the field goal and the student section behind it? There was nobody in the stands. All the Arkansas fans left before halftime. Notre Dame continues to pour it on in the second half, and they win. What was the final score? 59-13. It was something crazy like that. Not too long after, on Sunday, I'm glad at least Arkansas is taking their football program serious, unlike Florida. How does Billy Napier still have a job? I'm not going to talk about him, but I don't even understand that. The news came out that they are going to be firing Sam Pittman. I hate it for him, but it had to be done. And this can be a good thing for Pittman. He can go elsewhere, revive his career. His time coaching, it's far from over. But, and I have a ginormous, enormously large big but, the main reason I'm making this video is because things just took a strange turn for the Arkansas Razorbacks. As to where it stands right now, guess who your new interim head coach is? You want to talk about a full circle moment. Look no farther than this one. Bobby Petrino. You can't make this up. I don't think your casual college football fan understands how just weird this is. It feels like a fever dream. The fact Petrino even found his way back to Arkansas with how he departed and that whole debacle, it could be a movie in its own right. We'll leave it at that. If you had told me when they wound up getting rid of him that he'd be back at Arkansas, I said, what? What are you talking about? As a fan? I can't believe he's an interim head coach. And when Pittman got fired, I thought about making a breaking news video covering it, but I was like, well, there's nothing really to add to it. Everybody saw this coming in Arkansas. They're searching for a new head coach. There's no updates. I know what you're sitting there saying. Well, Matt, you're making a video about it now. And yes, that's because I just saw something that piqued my interest, and it has me not only worried but concerned for this Arkansas football program. Yesterday, the athletic director was asked about Sam Pittman if he was set up to succeed financially. Here's what he said, and I quote, "Coach Pittman did not," let me say that again so there's not any confusion, did not, NOT, have the resources he needed to compete in this conference. What? Are you kidding me? I hope some of you understand how bad that sounds, how bad it looks. In other terms, he's saying, yeah, it's not really his fault this team is very bad. We didn't help him out much either. I'm not trying to scare Arkansas fans. I mean, you're used to losing. But this, yeah. You see, here's the big difference. With Florida, even if you fire Billy Napier, you're going to have hope around that program because you have the money when it comes to NIL. You have all the resources in the world to compete with the big boys in the SEC and in the country. That's why it's so frustrating at Florida. But with Arkansas, your athletic director just came out and said, yeah, we didn't even have the resources. It's not even Pittman's fault. So are y'all picking up what I'm putting down or not? I try to dumb things down in the simplest way possible to understand. Here's the entire quote. Our head coach compensation, our assistant coach salary pool, our support staff salary pool, and our overall operating budget ranked toward the bottom of the Southeastern Conference. I think with that information, Coach Pittman did not have the resources he needed to appropriately compete in his conference right now. You mean to tell me, and I didn't know this, maybe something I did, this is brand new information for me. You're dead last in compensation, you're dead last in assistant coach salary pool, you're dead last in support staff salary pool, and you're dead last in overall operating budget. There's many questions I can ask, and I'm going to ask in the video, but the one I'm thinking about right now, how in the world are you even going to afford a decent head coach? I didn't say a good one. I didn't say a great one. I didn't say an elite one. A decent head coach. How? You're dead last everywhere else. When you're pinching pennies, something's got to give. You can get that, I don't know, bag of chips, but you can't get milk that week. That is the dilemma Arkansas is currently in. I've been there before. If you want milk for your Cheerios, well, instead of getting 10 on pump number 2, you're going to have to get 5 on pump 2. Here's the bottom line. Let's not even talk about the coaching element to it. If you don't have money, do you know what that means? You can't get dudes. If you can't get dudes, you can't compete. If you can't compete, you can't win football games in the Southeastern Conference. This isn't an opinion of mine. This is a fact. Nick Saban has talked about this. I've experienced in my own life as a former athlete. It doesn't matter if you have the best head coach of all time. You can have Bear Bryant, Nick Saban. Either one. Those are the top 2 of all time. If they don't have dudes, they're not going to compete and win football games. You got to have dudes out there. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to some Alabama fans, but even Nick Saban, as great as a coach he is, he's not going to win championships, or he wouldn't have won championships with 2- and 3-star recruits. You got to have your Julio Joneses, your Amari Coopers, your Devontae Smiths, your Derrick Henrys, the Tua Tagovailoas of the world on your team. If you think otherwise, it's just blasphemous. It's ludicrous. And a perfect storm is when you get 4- and 5-star recruits with a great head coach. That equates to national championships. It's like working out. You can't work out, lift weights 4 or 5 days a week and not eat protein. There's no point to it. When you're working out, you're tearing muscles. The protein, a lot of people get this confused. They think it builds muscles. No, it doesn't. It repairs them, the ones you tore during the workout. You got to have both. It's the same thing with coaching. You can't just be a great head coach. You got to have great football players. But why Arkansas is in such a awful situation is because the first step to getting those 4- and 5-star recruits, to getting those dudes, those dogs, whatever you want to call them, is you got to have a great head coach to go get them, like Saban when he was at Alabama, when he got there, when was it, 2007, 2006? But here's the next part to it in the big 2025. You can't have the mentality that you had in 2012, 2013, or even 2015. Not only do you have to have the good/great head coach, you got to have the munyon to go with them. Most of y'all know this. I've never been a big Sam Pittman fan. You know, I don't think he's a bad guy. It's just I didn't think he was that great of a coach. However, if he don't got the munyon to support him, you can't even fault the guy. If you're a program like Arkansas, with all due respect, the only way you're going to be able to kind of recruit with Alabama and Georgia, or Texas A&M, who's up the road from you, Texas, you got to have money. Alabama could get away with not having a big NIL fund because it's Alabama. Recruits want to go there just because of the history. They'll take a pay cut. But nobody's taking a pay cut to go to sorry and sucky Arkansas. That's not going to happen. It's never happened, and it won't happen in the future. If we have any diehard Arkansas fans or sources, please either DM me on Twitter or fill us in the comment section. Why are their funds so low? I don't get it. I thought that's where, don't they have like the Tyson chicken nugget or distribution center? There's something like that over there, and I think they have Walmart. Heck, look how much money they spent on their basketball team. So why is the football team, why don't they have any money? I'm confused. They gave John Calipari all that money. They then gave all of John Calipari's former Kentucky players like DJ Wagner. What's the guy? Duthero. They gave him and like 5-6 other players. They gave them millions of dollars. Why don't the football team have that money? The only thing I could assume or guess is you obviously don't need as much money to field a basketball team compared to a football team. A basketball team to have a really good one, I'd say you probably need around, you only need like 7 to 10 million. To have a really good football team, you need at least 20. I don't know. I genuinely don't. Please enlighten me in the comment section. If I sound ignorant on this topic at hand, it's because I am. I don't know. But you know what this is starting to look like? It's close to the UCLA job. No head coach is going to touch that job because when it comes to NIL, heck, UCLA has to pay money. What is that? It's some fee they have to pay every. They're losing money. Two of the worst jobs right now in college football, Arkansas, UCLA. Why would a good head coach even want to go to either of those programs? You're probably going to have to get lucky and find a diamond in the rough like Tennessee did with Bobby Heupel. Here's the last thing we're going to talk about before we end off this video. Bobby Petrino, I guess he's going to be your interim head coach. Is this good news? Is it bad news? To me, it's just kind of like, whatever. The season's already over. Is this a tryout for him to be the new head coach? I don't think so. I think Arkansas's past that era. They're past that chapter. They want to get a different guy. But let me ask you a question. What if he goes out here? How many games they got left? Is it 9 games? Hold on. I'm pulling up their schedule in live time. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, wait, no. Arkansas has played 5 games. What am I talking about? Yeah, they've already played 5 games this year. Sorry. Why did I think they only played 3? So they got 6 games left. Tennessee, loss. A&M, loss. Auburn, loss. Mississippi State, and maybe you win that one. LSU, loss. Texas, loss. And then Missouri, maybe. There's about, at max, 2 to 3 wins left. You're not going to make a bowl game unless you pull off a couple upsets. But what if Bobby Petrino goes out here and you go, we'll say 6 games. Let's say he goes 3-3, 4-2, but the team's looking good. Do you potentially consider giving him the new job? Let me know in the comments if you're an Arkansas fan. I think they need to go after a younger guy that's got some oomph to him. But that's just me. Many more things we can say. We'll end it up here. Let me know your thoughts down below.